how can you get rich in any country in the world? Is it possible to get rich anywhere in the world? Because I got rich in Brazil, and it's not the best place globally to build wealth, because here we have a huge 13.25% interest rate and rising. We have an incredible 4.59% inflation rate, and it was even bigger on the few last years. And it's not the best place in the world to create and grow a business, but I made it happen. Since I achieved this in an emerging country, I truly believe it's entirely possible to get rich anywhere. And I'll teach you in this video how. It doesn't matter if you're in New York, São Paulo, or a small village in Asia. The principles are the same. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Let's dive in. First of all, we need to answer this question. What's a rich person? And well, even if the world seems pretty globalized right now, the concept of wealth depends on your country. For instance, there's a Knight Frank Wealth Report from 2024 that shows how much you need to be part of the top 1% in some countries. In the US, it's $5.8 million. In Australia, it's $4.6 million. In Germany, it's $3.4 million. In France, 3.2. In the UK, 3. In Hong Kong, 3 million. And in Japan, $1.9 million. Since the 2024 report doesn't include my country, I also pulled data from the 2021 report. To be considered rich in Brazil, you'll need around $280,000. In other emerging countries, it's even less, $180,000 in South Africa and $60K in India. I think a lot of you guys could be considered rich in India by now. And here's the thing, even if you ask ChatGPT, you'll not find a single billionaire that isn't a businessman, a CEO, or a president of a company. Also, 88% of all millionaires are business owners. I'm a multimillionaire and I'm an entrepreneur. And that said, now we can move to the second part of that video. To get rich in any country, you need to invest more in yourself. No shortcuts here. Just look at this. Over 27% of Bill Gates' portfolio is tied up in Microsoft shares. Jeff Bezos holds 911 million Amazon shares. Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock, is the company's largest investor. Now, most average investors spread their money across multiple companies to reduce risk, and that's normal. But the exposure these three have in a single company, it's insane. Why do they do it? Because when the idea is yours, when you are the one responsible, you have to go all in and be willing to take the risk. And here's the kicker. The less money you have, the less it makes sense to diversify your income streams. Imagine this. You've got 10 empty cups and only 1 liter bottle of water. If you try to fill all 10, none of them will get full. But if you focus on just 1 cup, you can fill it up to the brim. Sure, some people have buckets of water or an entire ocean, so it makes sense for them to spread it around. But if you only have a bottle, focus on filling that first glass. When it comes to making money, you can't rely on a plan B. Plan B tricks you into thinking there's always an escape route, another way to succeed without giving your all. But success often requires commitment with no backup plan. I could easily make an entire video just about creating your own business and teaching you how to do it. But the best strategy I know by far is this: work at a company, be a regular employee, learn, and then start your own business. For example, if you want to own a fast food franchise, you should work at McDonald's first. It's basically getting paid to learn. If you want to run a marketing agency, start by working on a company's marketing team. It's that simple. I was a financial advisor first, then I created my own advisory business in that order. Once I got really successful, I started buying other businesses to improve them. But that's a story for another video. I just want you to know that's also a possibility, okay? But maybe now you're thinking, I don't want to be a business owner. I don't have the talent for it. Even if 88% of millionaires are entrepreneurs, I'd rather be part of the 22% who took a different path. And that's completely fine. But take a look at the list of the highest paying jobs in the world. Neurosurgeon, Chief Executive Officer, AI/ML engineer, data scientist, blockchain developer, corporate lawyer, investment banker, cybersecurity specialist, anesthesiologist, cloud engineer. You notice what they all have in common. Every single one requires thousands of hours of study and preparation. You can't just wake up and land one of these jobs. You have to invest time, effort, and yes, money into your education to earn a spot. But there's a downside. The total cost of education to become a neurosurgeon in the United States can reach upwards of $1 million. Chief executive officers, on the other hand, are generally well-educated professionals. Globally, 98% of CEOs hold at least a bachelor's degree. And if you look closely, you'll find that paying for the education required for any of these positions on the list is expensive. In most countries, you can take tests to get free education, but it's not for everyone. There is a selection process. Also, in most countries, unless you attend top colleges, employment is not guaranteed. According to World Economic Forum data, 66% of young workers in developing economies hold qualifications that don't align well with their jobs. The global youth unemployment rate currently stands at 13%, and 2 in 3 young people are worried about losing their jobs. In other words, you could waste years and a lot of money going to college, only to struggle to find a job, or worse, end up not working in your field of study. And if you do find a job, you probably worry every day about losing it. Being real, the advantage of entrepreneurship is that you are part of an emerging country like mine. It may be very difficult to find job opportunities where you have the possibility of growing and earning high salaries. You create your own opportunity when you create a company, and it tends to be more meritocratic and gives you more freedom. In my country, a salary of $5,000 is for 1% of employees. It's much more common to make this money, and much more through business. And even in the United States and developed countries, I have already shown data that shows that business people dominate the top of the richest. So if you're aiming high, this is the path for you. Now let's imagine that you've already got your high-paying job, or that you've created a business and everything is going well. Now you need to invest the money you save. The reasons are simple. Investing accelerates enrichment, protects your money from inflation, and guarantees that you won't get into trouble during crisis. Because your business might fail and you might lose your job. So if you want to get rich quick and want to preserve that wealth, when you get there, this is an inevitable step. The big question is, how should you invest your wealth? And the answer is actually pretty simple. You know why? Because back in 1952, someone already solved this problem for you. His name was Harry Markowitz, an American economist who created the modern portfolio theory. His idea was that investing isn't just about making more and more money. It's not only about chasing crazy high returns. Because if you think that way, you end up allocating your money into extremely risky investments that you might not even have the stomach for. Markowitz's big takeaway is balance risk and return. And this guy wasn't just anybody. He won the Nobel Prize in Economics in 1990 for this theory. Now, the theory itself is super complex, with statistical concepts like variance, covariances, and a bunch of other wild stuff. If you want, I can make a separate video breaking it down with all the math and technical details, but if I did that right now, we'll be here for an hour. So here's the one thing you need to understand. You need to diversify your investments. But how? It's simple. You can diversify in 3 ways. First, across countries. Second, across different asset classes. And third, within specific assets in your portfolio. But is it just a matter of endlessly diversifying and adding more assets? What's the difference between having 15 stocks in your portfolio versus 50 stocks? Should you just keep piling on more and more stocks, assuming you'll be more diversified that way? Not exactly. Let me explain. Take a look at this chart here. The x-axis shows the risk of a hypothetical portfolio composed of treasury bonds and stocks. The y-axis shows the portfolio's return. So the higher you go, the higher the returns. Notice that as we increase the weight of the stocks in the portfolio, the expected return goes up, but so does the risk. A portfolio with more stocks tends to offer higher returns, but it also comes with higher volatility. So the real question is, where do the benefits of diversification stop? Where is your optimal point? Our friend Markowitz broke down risk into two types: diversifiable and non-diversifiable. Diversifiable risk refers to the specific risks tied to individual assets. This can be reduced by diversifying your portfolio across various sectors and asset classes, as I just mentioned. Non-diversifiable risk, on the other hand, refer to market-wide risks like macroeconomic issues, natural disasters, financial crisis, or political instability. Things that are very common, especially in emerging countries like mine. This is known as systematic risk, and there is not much you can do to avoid it. But you can protect yourself from diversifiable risk by increasing the number of assets in your portfolio. Ideally, you should aim for around 15 assets. This is typically where the benefits of diversification max out. Beyond that, the curve flattens out and you're not eliminating any additional risk. And that's how you should be investing and diversifying your wealth. You need to study, keep learning, and consume content like this so you can grow the returns on your hard work. And that's it for today, guys. Thanks for sticking with me, and I'll see you next time.